Good evening, listeners. I am Birinder Singh with you with this month's literary magazine program, Spectrum. In this program, we paint the silence with words, blending the bright hues of poetry with the deep shadows of fiction. Poetry, stories, are the mirror of human emotions, human struggles. I would like to share this kind of story with you. Once, the exhausted father walked past the toy store window, counting the few coins in his hand. He chose to skip his own meals for a week just to buy that specific doll. On Christmas morning, his daughter's eyes lit up with the pure ascetic joy as she held that doll. She hugged her father tightly, completely unaware of the physical hunger, pangs, groaning in his stomach. Seeing her daughter's beautiful smile was the most filling and satisfying meal he had ever experienced. So, in affection, we love to sacrifice. And now in today's Spectrum, we would love to present a poetry by Deepti Kapoor. Let's listen to it.
My first poem is My Grandmother and My Poem. My grandmother was born on the day of independence. She hadn't even witnessed the warmth of sun when they left her behind an old door, perhaps hoping she would become one with the earth and put an end to all their troubles. Lands were being split, lives were being lost. How could someone care for a newborn when they didn't even know if they had a home? Funny thing about land is that a line determines what's yours and not, doesn't care where you leave your heart, doesn't ask to see the children who have learned to crawl in verandas that they can no longer call their own. They say that goodbyes are unfaithful. They say that goodbyes are unfaithful, for leaving is like becoming dust, dissolving into the ocean of forgetting and never coming back to the shore of someone. Everything is gone. Everything is gone, taken and stashed and thrown, but grief carries on in little suitcases and pictures in lockets, lovers' letters and longings, in wedding trousseau left unused. Loss carries itself neatly in tight cotton turbans and dupattas of rainbow hues. When I ask my grandmother if she truly knows where her home is, she looks far into her own eyes. She looks far into her own eyes, lost in memory of something unfathomable. Unfathomable by those who've always been certain of their home, their identity, those who have walked on lands green and godly, blades of grass soft like memory. She looks into my eyes and I find my answer. I find my answer heavy and lonely, but I must never let it come to my tongue. I must never let it come to my mouth, for it is not mine. It is not mine, it is a journey one has to make alone, in scorching heats or summers borne by, the weight of blood of those once known. I wonder where she lost the answer. I wonder where she lost the answer. I now wonder if she left it inside her heart, if she left it inside her home. The second poem is Moringa. What have I done to deserve this warmth? The morning sky calls, but I've never been out of my walls, my bed, my home to answer. How do I say no to its desperate longing? How do I contain the space between my skin and my sky? Before the light comes up and the curtains roll down firm, I long to see it one last time. I long to see it one last time in front of my eyes, marking the end of our oneness, escaping the horizon, delving into the sea. Delving into the sea, I stand here now, closing my eyes, inhaling the warmth, slashing the zephyr, my morning sky. My morning sky, I've always been here, waiting to be with you. So take me. Take me with you to the land of non-morning blues. Take me to the land where the wind taps against my face and freedom falls like light all over my face. Where the ground all home become untethered, I am now one with the earth. I am now one with the earth. Maybe the sky was always my return, remembering the beginning of my time, here and now. Here and now I long to be seen, to be found, to be held. So take me with you. Take me with you before I forget your name, my beautiful land of non-morning blues. This third poem is called In This Life We Were Together. In this life I see myself, a baby in your arms, holding my bottle, my toy car. You gushing about my soft hair and tiny fingerprints. You can't let go. You can't let go. You say you'll be here till I go on. You laugh. You laugh and you're so happy to see me. In this life I see myself a preteen, pimpled and sloppy. I've just gotten my first pair of glasses. I've just gotten my first pair of glasses. I look miserable and sloshy. You grin and you tell me our glasses look the same. You and I are one whole now, together unbroken, you see. So I smile. I smile, you smile. I'm so happy to see you again. In this life now, I see myself a teen, confused and angry. I tell you I hate you. I tell you that I hate you, but I don't mean it. But I still leave and I don't look back. You're back to washing the fragments of my desperation again, the sink flooded with your tears as if it was always yours to clean. But I come back. I come back and you make me our favorite foods. We pretend like nothing ever broke. So you smile. You smile, I laugh, and you're so happy to see me again. In this life, I see myself an adult, tired and unflinching. You're lying in front of me in a hospital bed. You're lying in front of me in a hospital bed. I start to tear up. So you tell me our old anecdotes. You remember the time we spent laughing all night long. But my eyes are moist. My eyes are moist. My memory is getting so small. Everything is going to be okay. I hear you repeat. Everything is going to be okay. You say with a needle in your hand. You're in pain, but you're still so unafraid. I smile. I smile and you smile, and I know I love you more than anything ever again. And in this life now, I see myself again. A wailing child this time, scared and empty. You're a lifeless body now, cold and brave, sitting unabashedly in your rightful place. A home you made in people and memories, larger than life and full of desires left to be lived again. I stand in front of you. I stand in front of you, a teardrop falls at your eye. You're not smiling. You're not smiling, I'm not smiling, but I love you forever and I hope you're in a better place. The fourth poem is called Sincerely. What if I told you that you are made to conquer all your dreams and the broken factions of hope you carry within you are nothing but an infinite universe full of belief? What if I told you in all sincerity that this is meant to be? What if I told you that you are whole and unique, like a wildflower amidst the thorns and bushes, standing tall with a bundle of light all warm? You are a weathered warrior. You are a weathered warrior, hands torn, still full of vigor and heart like a thunderstorm, carrying all the battle scars, tough and alone, unbridled but beautiful, bursting with hope, and still. And still, when you forget to see this truth alone, you must be reminded. You must be reminded again and sure that in all sincerity, this is meant to be. What if I told you you're nothing short of a world of your own, complete and distinguished, an enigma of virtues unknown? You're the beating heart of a wise sage and the mind of a child still learning to crawl, weight of the world unknown. You're here and you're free. You're here and you're free like a gossamer thread of unparalleled dreams. So what if I told you a truth carried through ages, that in all sincerity this is meant to be? In all sincerity, you're the universe from its beginning to end, raw and humane, with light and longing, memories echoing longer than time, in air, in sea, in earth, in the beauty of trees. You're a galaxy of love and hate, floating through space, yet holding on. Yet holding on, unbroken and soft, so maybe you don't realize the truth of your own, but you're everything that you've been looking for. You're the creator of your destiny, the master of your fate, and that's how I know. That's how I know the answer to it all, for even nothing remains, you'll carry on. Beyond stars, beyond silence, but inside you, I know that in all sincerity, this is meant to be. You are meant to be. Thank you so much.
So this was the evocative poetic journey by Deepti Kapoor. We hope her words have left an indelible mark on your hearts. From the rhythmic beauty of poetry, we now transition into the captivating world of storytelling. Let's listen to the story by Rajan Kapoor.
Minnie came back from school weeping. Normally, she would return home from school jumping, singing and waving her little right hand at the shopkeepers of the street. Every shopkeeper in the street knew Minnie very well. Her extraordinary ability to engage them in a sweet talk had made her popular among them. But today the scene was altogether different. Minnie was sobbing and crying. There was an unusual quiver in her voice. Her tone lacked the thrill. Her movement was sluggish and hair disheveled. Her tiny braids that often gave her the look of a smart fur cat lacked tenacity. In fact, her braids had come off. She was also looking fatigued and tired. A completely worn-out princess, a defeated girl, a lost fairy. Her watery eyes bore a testimony to the fact that it might be her worst day in the school. Tightly holding the right hand of her father, who was busy tapping his fingers at the speed of light on his mobile, she was dragging herself towards her house. The sobbings of the little girl didn't move Minnie's father a bit. He was busy on his smartphone, tapping his fingers on its keypad. He was oblivious of what was happening to her daughter. His entire focus was on the screen of his phone. Minnie was a charming girl. A broad smile would always adorn her face. As a talkative girl, she would often enter the street leading to her house with truckloads of words on her lips. She was the darling of her neighbors, as she would make everyone happy with her incisive and sweet words. Her vocabulary was quite rich, and she would often use typical Punjabi words in her conversation. When she talked, it seemed that rain had unleashed its fury, and a thoroughbred race horse had forgotten to stop. Minnie's talkative ability was amazing. The proverbial rook that was known for cawing ceaselessly would hold no candle to her. Minnie could easily silence the rook and its tribe. When Minnie talked, others could not utter a word. The reasons were obvious. She talked furiously. Secondly, she was born with the talkative tongue in her mouth. Words would often come out of her mouth as water gushed from a rock. Since she talked non-stop, she had earned the sobriquet Mini Radio. Though Minnie's original name was Purvika, everyone called her Mini Radio. She had won this title by dint of her tongue. However, with the passage of time, the word radio went into oblivion and Purvika was transformed into Minnie. On that day, Shamlal, who ran a grocery shop in the area, noticed the strange behavior of Minnie. "Why are you weeping, Minnie?" he asked curiously. No reply. She simply walked past him crying and without passing a glance at him. Shamlal loved Minnie a lot. He always felt a tug of attraction for Minnie. Every day he would gift her a toffee. Minnie too would make a compulsory halt at Shamlal's shop whenever she came back from school. Minnie's non-stop but sweet words often reminded Shamlal of her granddaughter who lived in America. Bhumi was his granddaughter. She was born 3 years ago in New York. He would often talk to her via a video call. He didn't have the wherewithal to fly to America to hug her, to lift her on his shoulders, and to take her in his lap. Bhumi too could not come to India as her parents were still struggling for a PR status. Bhumi, thus Shamlal could visualize Bhumi in Minnie and shower his grandfatherly love on her. Bhumi would also spot two breeds. She was also very talkative like Minnie and would often kept Shamlal busy on the video call for hours together. This was the reason that simply pulled Shamlal towards Minnie. Besides, it seemed to be a strategy to overcome the pangs of separation from the family, which in search of greener pastures left him in the lurch. Being a widower, he was leading a lonely life. In fact, Shamlal was a representative of those miserable oldies of Punjab whose young kids had left their elders back in India and flown to foreign lands in search of greenbacks. On that day, Shamlal offered Minnie a fistful of candies with a view to cheering up her mood, but his effort didn't yield the desired result. Since Minnie was weeping, she didn't even look at the toffees once. Shamlal felt a bit sad. He didn't make the second attempt. Probably he might have realized that Minnie was completely upset today. He simply put his gnarled hands on Minnie's head and blessed her. Minnie's cries intensified when she reached home. She straightaway went to her mother and embraced her. "Why are you crying?" asked her mother. Minnie didn't reply but kept sobbing. Minnie's mother gave her child a cuddle and kissed her cheeks that were soaked in tears. "What happened? Why are you crying? Has anybody hit you?" she asked Minnie while taking the girl in her lap. The tight hug and the warm words of the mother made Minnie open up a bit. "Mom, my teacher has scolded me today. She has angrily told me that my performance in academics is witnessing a downward slide. She has further admonished me for yawning in the class." With tears rolling down her cheeks, Minnie reported the cause of her cries to her mom. Minnie's mother knew who the main culprit was, but she was helpless. Her umpteen pleas to Minnie's father to stop playing online games till midnight had gone unheeded. This bad habit of Minnie's father had affected Minnie and her mother's sleep. Besides, it had triggered a series of verbal skirmishes between the husband and the wife. The light and the tick-tick boom of the mobile had already induced sleeplessness in the entire family. Minnie's mother was upset at the strange behavior of her husband. Her attempt to wean her husband off the smartphone had fallen on deaf ears. Therefore, she had accepted defeat and completely surrendered herself to the whims of her husband. She was convinced that her husband was an online gambling addict and it was impossible to dissuade him from this madness. To calm down Minnie, her mother offered her a glass of chilled mango shake and made her go to bed. After a few days of the ugly incident, Minnie informed her mother that her school would hold a PTM on the last Saturday of the month. No issue, I shall attend it, told Minnie's mother to Minnie. Minnie's mom thought that Minnie was feeling terrified for being put to embarrassment again by the teacher at PTM. The teacher would repeat the same charter of complaints against her. This was what making Minnie anxious. But her apprehension proved to be wrong. Why don't you send Papa to PTM this time? Minnie requested her mother. To boost the morale of Minnie and to pull her out of the vortex of unpleasant incident, her mother gave a nod to Minnie's proposal. Finally, the big day came. Minnie came to school dressed in school uniform. Her papa accompanied her. Both the father and the daughter were brimming with confidence. The classroom was dotted with nervous parents and anxious students. When Minnie's turn came, her teacher exploded. She launched a litany of complaints against Minnie. This upsets Minnie's father. He lost his temper and unleashed his anger towards Minnie. Minnie kept mum and faced the salvos bravely. Her father's severe reprimand did not upset Minnie. Rather, she remained unfazed. Madam, don't scold me. If you want to pull up someone for my poor performance, then punish my papa. My papa keeps playing online games till midnight. This disturbs my sleep. This has also impacted my performance. As I fail to sleep properly at night, I keep yawning in the class. Minnie spewed her anger. Minnie's words created a dead silence in the room. It seemed as if the enemy had dropped a bomb. Minnie's words left his papa embarrassed. He kept his head downcast and slided away from the classroom. Before leaving the room, he promised to drop his bad habit of playing online games till midnight. The parents of the Minnie's classmates also took a solemn pledge not to allow their smartphones to interfere in the overall development of their children. This was how Minnie avenged her insult.
The Revenge. This was the story which was presented by Professor Rajan Kapoor. Before we close the book on today's episode, I want to remind you that every voice adds a color to our spectrum. Thank you for listening, for feeling, and for celebrating the power of poetry and storytelling with us today. This has been Birinder Singh closing out today's broadcast. Keep your notebooks open and your hearts ready. Until next month, take care.